We get that December 21st, 2022. The Super Mario animated movie, a Nintendo / Illumination Works production, co-production, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But yeah, basically we're getting the version of Super Mario movie we should have gotten back in 1993 when that horrendous piece of shit, it's not even a solid piece of shit, it's like a super wet, loose, drippy, all across your satin carpet piece of shit that came out your fucking ass halfway to the bathroom. You couldn't make it quite there. It's in your hand. It's dripping. You ruined your fucking white linen pants on your way to the bathroom. Throw it into the toilet, and now you gotta scrub dry your fucking hands, because that is the best way possible, and I'm trying to be nice about it, that you can describe the horrendously acted, produced, edited, storyboard presented, nonsensical, non-canon fucking ass Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993. I forget the name of the lead guy. I don't want to fucking remember the name of the lead guy. But fuck him. Fuck John Leguizamo. Listen, John Leguizamo, he's from Queens. So shout outs to him. I believe specifically Jackson Heights. So I'm an Astoria boy. Queens represent. Queens get the money all day. No love lost there. But he has a lot of explaining to do, if he hasn't up until now, for being Luigi or co-signing to be Luigi in the Super Mario Brothers OG movie from 1993. I forget who produced it, who gives a shit really. I hope whoever gave the green light to make that movie a reality hung themselves by now. I'm just kidding, of course. We're not endorsing suicide and or if that really mysteriously might have coincidentally happened, but you know what I'm fucking saying. It was a disgrace. It was a hot spit in the face to gaming fans, Mario fans, to the children who went thinking they'd get one thing but got a whole fucking other, as well as the poor parents back in 1993 of all things, which these were the times back then in 1993. I was 8 years old in 1993. I wanted to see the Super Mario Brothers movie. I didn't get to see the Super Mario Brothers movie because, one, I had a very overly Spanish mother, if anything, too. Like, way too Spanish for her own good. So besides fucking beating me whenever a fucking period hit, or worse, as I got a little older, like 9, 10-ish, whatever, menopause started to kick in heavy, so the beatings only got worse. Well, they stopped after like 10 because I kind of grew to her height. So at that point, she only, had mercy on my soul because we were almost like at the same height. Or I think I might have been tall already, like 10, 9, whatever. But still, she loved whooping on me. And she loved denying things because we were poor growing up. So even a night out or an afternoon out, mom and son, to the movies would have been something outside of our budget. Once in a while we got it, but it had to be shit she might have been remotely interested in. Because I still remember back in 93 as well, we went to go see Jurassic Park, the very first one, which I had to wait at least, I'm not lying, I had to wait at least maybe 10 years to actually see the film in full. Because guess what happened? My mother, overly Spanish, she doesn't know how to fucking explain to the movie person or the fucking person selling you the physical tickets back then, because it was only cash. Or if you had credit card, like it was rare, like if you use a credit card, you look like a weirdo if you use credit card in or check. Cash to get the ticket. She didn't know how to explain, mucho frio, like asking, is it cold in there, whatever, and that's all she could ask. No fucking English whatsoever. Turn down the AC. And of course, moms have the audacity to be like, back then and now with the Karens and all that, theater manager, could you turn down the AC in the whole theater because I'm here for the next 2-something hours to watch this one movie, and then when I'm gone, if anybody else asks for it to be put back on, put it back on, and for your best interest, you got a business, but while I'm here, I'm your customer, you need to treat me like I'm fucking worth my fat ass weight in gold, whatever, etc., etc. My muffin top brings all the boys to the yard, whatever the fuck those vibes are with the Karens nowadays. But back then we had those too. But at least the ethnic parents, like my mother, too Spanish for her own good, knew better than to step over her bounds with the English and shit. So if she couldn't explain herself, she kind of just grit her teeth, bared with it, and went along for the fucking ride. We only got to watch half the fucking movie because it got so cold in there. But I'm 8 years old. I like the cold. I like AC at least, too, when it's fucking hot. And it was hot, obviously. I think it was hot when Jurassic Park was out at that time. But we only got to see half the movie. I didn't get to make sense of the story whatsoever, and I think that movie might be near 2 hours or something, if I'm not mistaken. So we were forced to leave because my mother was too cold and too much of a dumbass to bring a fucking sweater, knowing that movie theaters have ACs the size of our fucking apartment, working to fucking get the whole theater cold. That's what a theater's supposed to be like, excuse me. That's what a theater's supposed to be like. It's supposed to be chilled, not sweating balls, not sweating your ass off or swamp assing it in the middle of fucking, I don't know, Jumanji or whatever. You're supposed to be able to enjoy yourself with the movie. But I had to wait till 10 years later when DVDs became a fucking thing to get the Jurassic Park DVD, watch it, and then be like, you know what? This was a great movie. One more grudge to hold against my mother for life. I'm just kidding, of course. But, you know, we don't get along as is. You know, she's a Gemini, I'm a Virgo. That's a whole fucking thing there. But that's my whole experience with Jurassic Park. Mario Brothers was a no-go because she would accuse me of all things. Already established a dummy from, like, what? The time I could, like, scratch my own balls or wash my own ass in the shower. Denied me completely being able to see the Super Mario Brothers movie when it came out. I'm glad she did that because I wouldn't have understood it at 8 years old, I think. I don't think she would have understood it. She would have been more mad at me for not being able to understand at all what's going on. And I would have ended up getting beaten at the end of that day just because. Or because she was in that bad a mood. It might have been, we might have gone and seen it the day she was in the middle of a fucking 7-day cycle. And then I would have just gotten anyway because I just breathed too heavy in her direction or whatever. So that movie's terrible. I did watch it eventually way afterwards. Like, I forget when exactly. It was in my teens. It was on randomly. I watched it. We had a legal cable, so it was on. I didn't get it now. I didn't get it then. I don't get it now. I wouldn't dare watch it now. You paid me, different story. To watch it, okay, I'll give it another chance. Or if enough people, like, ask for a review of the original Super Mario Brothers movie, I may consider it. I may go ahead and just bite that bullet and just, you know, let it fly out the back of my head, if anything, too. But that's old Super Mario Brothers movie talk, which I don't recommend at all. Don't waste your time. However, if you do choose to watch anything related to the Super Mario Brothers movie, just about anything else, reviews, deep takes, whatever you call them on YouTube, whatever, go watch those instead. And especially, and I emphasize and strongly advocate for this version, go watch the AVGN or the Angry Video Game Nerd version of his review for the Super Mario Brothers movie. Hilarious. It's OG, as we've always known to be, vintage fucking Angry Video Game Nerd. So definitely watch that version. Oh, sorry, not that version, but his review, his take on the Super Mario Brothers movie from 1993 or 1990, whatever the fuck year it was. But still, that you will enjoy, not the fucking movie. Do not bother with that movie whatsoever. Save yourself, you know, take cover if anything too. Now, finally getting that aside, pew, out of the fucking way. We are here to talk about the scandal, the, I don't know what they even call it, the head scratcher, better yet said, of Super Mario 2022, aka the Super Mario animated movie we're getting next holiday season in 2022. I swear to God, I'm not hating. I'm just very confused as to why, of all people, Chris Pratt is going to be voicing this guy up here, Super Mario, in next year's Super Mario movie as confirmed by SHIGERU MIYAMOTO-san. But listen, I'm on to you, sir. You must have been high off of plenty of mushrooms for the fact that Mario is solely based off mushrooms, the Mushroom Kingdom. I'm on to you. More on that theory tomorrow live, 2 p.m. here at Who This Is One Live for Who This Been Watching, Saturday, September 25th. Now, I don't know why 1993's Mario Brothers movie wasn't animated instead. Head scratcher there too, but we're long past that. It's been so long, who cares? And burn your copy of the movie, VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, Betamax, whatever the fuck you got, and bury it somewhere, please, so there's no ashes, no way to ID the fucking, you know, pile of bullshit you just burned alive. But there is potential now that this movie may be good, or so I thought, because this movie was announced, this movie was put out there as a rumor and then confirmed there is one being made. So just hold your horses and or hold your Yoshis in place as best you can, so that when it comes, you can appreciate it. Okay, no problem. Because initially, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, initially either Mario and or an iconic Nintendo character, Mario I think only actually, if I remember correctly now, was supposed to be in the second Wreck-It Ralph movie, Ralph Breaks the Internet. I love that first Wreck-It Ralph movie. It's so cute. It's so legit funny too. John C. Reilly, Sarah Silverman, just the whole fucking cast. Oh, and shout out to Adam Carolla, who was actually one of the fucking donut cops. It was him and Horatio Sands, I think. Adam Carolla was the eclair donut, bear claw looking donut, and Horatio Sands was the shorter, stubbier, round donut too. They were both hilarious. Very short but sweet, literally, no pun intended. Sweet appearances by both. I love that movie, Wreck-It Ralph. It would have made sense to have Mario in there since I was mostly video game heavily based. Sonic was in there, Street Fighter, not Pac-Man, maybe the Pac-Man Ghosts. And a bunch of other fucking references to other fucking video games too were made there as well. No Mario. So when I read the rumors for Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet coming out way after the fact, that was originally rumored to be Mario's appearance in a movie after 1993's shit show. That was that fucking live version of it too. But then apparently, I forget if like negotiations fell through or Nintendo didn't want to approve basically because it was Disney and whatnot. Or maybe they thought, you know what, these animated movies are doing so well for themselves, it doesn't matter who really houses it. And we don't want Disney getting our Nintendo money because, you know, I mean, rightfully so. They can be greedy like that if they really want to. They probably got that idea in their minds to be like, you know what? Let's go on our own. We did Nintendo on our own anyway, so we might as well do the movie thing on our own anyway, too. And probably pull the carpet from underneath Disney. No Mario for you guys. Even though in that movie, the second one, we got, the coin blocks, like stacked up in like a room, I think, somewhere. So there was a reference to alluding to Mario, but there was no Mario. Long story less long. So then fast forward to the announcement eventually of a Super Mario animated movie being made. I forget when I read that, but it was probably a year or two ago. That's in production. Now, in this past Nintendo Direct from this past week, Thursday, I believe, we get confirmation from, surprisingly, out of nowhere, Shigeru Miyamoto-san, that the movie will be out next year, holiday season 2022. It's going to be animated. We knew that. We don't know if it's going to keep the Super Mario movie name or what the fuck it's going to be called. But as far as that's concerned, the alarming, very unpleasantly surprising part that was announced to us, the fucking proverbial bomb or babamba that was dropped on us when he made the announcement, Shigeru Miyamoto, was that the voice cast is being revealed during the Nintendo Direct, of all things, as we bite our nails in anticipation. Holy shit, wait, what the fuck? I forget his name, the guy that voiced Mario for the longest time now with the Yahoo, Whippy, and all the sounds that Mario makes. He's not Mario, of all fucking things. If I can, and this isn't new news per se, but if you haven't caught wind of this yet, I mean, look at this, listen to this fucking cast, the voice cast that has been revealed and confirmed for the movie, as we'll discuss now in depth. You got, as Mario himself, Super Mario the plumber. Chris Pratt is Super Mario. Already, I'm scratching my head. I'm scratching my ass to balance things out because I may have OCD. But then back to scratching my head as far as trying to make sense of this in any way, shape, or form. And I can't seem to do it. But then you read more into the fucking rest of the cast, and you got the likes of Anya Taylor-Joy as Peach. Anya Taylor-Joy was a girl from The Queen's Gambit, on Netflix, which is chef's kiss. Absolutely recommend that show 100%, or series, whatever you want to call it. really great, and she's phenomenal. She's one of those kind of awkwardly weird cute, not like textbook standard definition of cute, but like those odd kind of, a lot of weird features, not ugly, I'm saying just like overly sharp, very present heavy features on her that still make her cute in a way, just like her and Zendaya. Zendaya is very slim, but also something about her still makes her cute regardless, and she's of age, I can say that, so of course. But yeah, that's besides the point. She's going to be Princess Peach, is Anya Taylor-Joy, which I believe she's originally like some sort of Spanish, Argentinian, or one of those, I believe. Reading up on her. Charlie Day as Luigi, Mario's brother. Now, as we've known forever, they're both presumably Italian, or maybe this whole time, since the Mario brothers have existed, we've just assumed. But then again, Mario is a fairly typical Italian name. He's always had a little bit of the accent going with his sounds made. The mustache is very Italian-esque in its thickness, with 2-3 C's for how thick that mustache is and how pronounced it is. Like, do we know if Mario has an upper lip for how heavy and thick that mustache is, for God's sakes? Maybe he's got a cleft palate, and the fucking mustache is covering that the whole time. So low-key, he might be... Where's that part of the fucking world that has a lot of cases of a cleft palate? I forget where. I think it's some country in Asia. I don't want to assume either, or name a country and be wrong, but I think it's some part of Asia where they have a large cleft palate born baby population as well, too. But shout out to them. I know there's been a lot of people that have been donating to some sort of charity that specifically fixes those cleft palates, and then they come out to be normal adults too. Like, you never even noticed they had that as a child too. So shout out to them and that organization. Charlie Day is Luigi, however, though, not Italian as far as I know, based off that name alone. That is his Hollywood name most likely, but still, I know the face. I can't remember what movies he's been in, but I know he's like the awkward kind of overly hyper tense, what do you call it, like white guy with the goatee and shit on the short side. He's funny. I like him. Again, I know the face. I just don't remember what movies he's been in, like offhand. But I know he's good. So, okay, maybe there's potential there per se. But then as far as the comedy realm and or world is concerned, further down the list of the cast of this fucking Mario movie coming up, we got Jack Black as Bowser. Or, you know, as I used to know him growing up, King Koopa. You know, with Mario Brothers 1, I don't think he was in 2, I don't remember. Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario World on Super Nintendo. And then ever since then, you know, he's been Bowser. But then again, when I grew up, he was always King Koopa. So, Jack Black is Bowser. I like Jack Black. He's fat and silly and endearing. So, you know, he checks off all the boxes there. But I'm kind of worried now that he'll be Bowser, or he'll be voicing Bowser. So that really concerns me a lot as far as what he may end up doing with it, or what they may ask him to do with that role and character of Bowser. Because then it's like he's going to really do it over the top. I still remember him as Kung Fu Panda as far as the voice acting work is concerned too. It's going to be hard to imagine him as anyone else but Poe, the fucking panda. Let's see, though. Then there's Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele fame as Toad. So now I'm even more worried, because I'm starting to think, well, are they going to pull what they pulled with fucking, I think it might have been the same company, Illumination Works or something, that did The Secret World of Pets, where they had Kevin Hart voice the tiny little white bunny of all things, which is, for the sake of comedy, I get it. It's like a tiny little white fluffy bunny, cute and innocent, whatever too, but when he gets mad, he's fucking low-key Kevin Hart and just like spazzing out like, hey, I'm a white bunny. Don't test me, brother. Or whatever he did with that fucking thing. Because it was like the easiest payday for him, because he didn't change his intonation. He didn't go or steer far outside of how we've known Kevin Hart to sound forever. He was just Kevin Hart as a fucking white fluffy tiny bunny. For 1 and 2, both movies, A Secret Life of Pets. So now, as fucking Keegan-Michael Key, I'm worried, is he going to really try to put on a voice, pretend to be anything else outside of his normal speaking voice, which he's funny. I like him. He's legit funny. But then, how's he going to work down the Toad of all things? And we've known Toad as, oh, or whatever weird sound, like you're squeezing a old dog squeak toy or something, like, oh, or some weird ass sound that Toad makes in the video games too. So now he's going to be fluently able to speak, but is he going to sound like a bald-headed, light-skinned black man of all things too? So then is low-key like Toad wearing do-rags under his fucking mushroom cap? Or is he a mushroom with a mushroom head, those like trippy black spaced out eyes? He's just like a really like laced, heavily induced mushroom himself, but low-key he's a brother, so then that'd be super racist if he is. I don't know now. Now it opens up Pandora's boxes to fucking different things to think about or even approach in that sense too. Then you go further down the list. This makes sense. Kinda. I could see this working, better yet said or phrased. You got Seth Rogen casted as the voice of Donkey Kong in, of all things, a Super Mario movie, which is not really or they haven't announced it to be a Nintendo cast movie. It's just a Super Mario movie, but okay. We're getting Donkey Kong. I mean, Mario was in the first Donkey Kong game, as well as Donkey Kong Jr. game as well too, as the plumber jumping to save the princess, jumping over barrels and smashing through them with the fucking mega hammer and all that too. Okay, I can see the correlation there, why Donkey Kong will be in there. But I can also kind of see Donkey Kong working as per the voice of Seth Rogen, because I love Seth Rogen. I think he's legit funny. And him voicing Donkey Kong only makes sense. So are we going to get, of course, since it's a kid's movie, it's a Mario movie, and Nintendo's at the head and realm, are we going to get any sort of banana as like pot or weed references, jokes, innuendos whatsoever? Or are they going to be fucking so clean cut about it that, hey, no make weed banana jokes, association, you fuck, or whatever. He did say Seth Rogen was pretty funny or something to the sense of that, like when he was introducing the cast and saying a little funny, compliment of sorts after mentioning each person's name. But I would like to see that if that makes its way into a Mario movie of all things, a fucking banana as weed in the place of weed reference, because Donkey Kong stays eating bananas all fucking day if he could, if he didn't have to fucking be forced to be a giant ape with a dress tie, his logo on the end of the tie, and no pants on top of that too, flexing and being OP'd in Smash Brothers otherwise, but still he'd be Donkey Kong. So I guess that makes sense with Seth Rogen. I can see it kinda. Then you got Fred Armisen. I think that's how you say his name. No disrespect. I know who he is. If I'm not mistaken, he's the one that played Obama on SNL. He's been on different shows, movies, all that too. I like him. He's funny. So as Cranky Kong, okay, maybe I can see that. As one of the Kongs that ain't Donkey, being Cranky Kong. Yeah, I can see him with the fucking playing that voice. So far, Seth Rogen and Fred Armisen makes sense till now. Let's give it enough credit due, but just enough till now it makes sense. Then you got Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek, the little wizard guy that be casting spells and shit and fucking you all up and switching the course on you when you're halfway through done already. I'm going to be honest, I don't know who that is. If I'm not mistaken, I think he is a very known voice actor for a lot of cartoons and or games as well. I wouldn't be able to tell you which game or cartoon, but I think he's a big, tall, black, bald guy with a really great voice. So it makes sense that he'd be doing a lot of voice work in that sense. So good for him. If he's who I'm thinking of, then Kamek might be the most pleasant sounding of them all. But then, since he's already established as a voice actor, he should be able to add his like specific touchings and or flavors to it. So okay, let's see what's done there. And then Sebastian Maniscalco. Hold on a second. If I'm not mistaken, is that the guy? Spike. I know there was other names listed for like the other. Those fucking bike assholes. I know there was another name listed for, or a bunch of other names listed for the fucking what do you call it? Oh no, he's not who I'm thinking of. He's a comedian. But I can't think of where the fuck I know him from, to be honest. I don't know where the fuck I've seen him before or heard him. But he's a comedian, so I guess good for him. That's a real cushy gig for him to get. So yeah, let's see what happens there. I'm not doubting the potential and or talent of anybody named here as the voice cast for the Super Mario movie coming up in holiday season 2022 at all whatsoever. I'm not doubting that at all. I'm not saying that. I'm actually a big fan of Chris Pratt. I loved him on Parks and Recs. Caught that too in the middle of it fucking airing originally, then caught up with it eventually afterwards with, like, you know, seasons, being able to watch those back. Loved him there. Shout outs to Audrey Plaza, I think her name is. The chick on there with the dark hair, really snarky, really fucking funny. But then not big shout outs to her because she got married recently, so she kind of broke my heart along with a lot of other people as well. But Chris Pratt was really good, and I loved him, better yet said, as Star-Lord in both Guardians of the Galaxy movies. That was fun to watch him as, so he really owned that character. He made that pretty much his own, I want to say, Iron Man, if anything, as in, I don't think we can envision in our lifetimes anyone else playing Iron Man that isn't Robert Downey Jr. I think the same applies to Star-Lord in this case. Which the sad thing with Chris Pratt is, I forget exactly if it's his belief and or religious affiliation that really got him into like hot water per se, as far as what they believe and their belief system, better yet said. But I know that people were trying to cancel him and or I forget, trying to get him to apologize or own up to something just because of his, like, what he believes in too. But if that's all he's doing, if he didn't commit a crime, if he's not into fucking like doing things against people, whatever, whatsoever, or he's not directly committing those crimes that we can associate with the religious belief, whatever the fuck he's got going on, then just relax. We can kind of disassociate the person from fucking the characters they play and at least appreciate the art they provide via the characters they play, as in Star-Lord, as in whatever the fuck else he does too. I loved him in the fucking Jurassic World / Park remakes too. Well, I haven't finished the second one yet. The first one was really good though, Jurassic World. I love that movie, really fucking good. Almost always watch it when it's on TV, FX. They never stop playing that fucking movie basically. But I like Chris Pratt. But listen, if it's anything short of pedophilia, you know, I don't know, kidnapping people, you know, chopping up babies and the fucking body parts or whatever, let's leave the guy alone for now. I think he's done nothing but entertain us. He's guilty of being funny and charming and endearing. So, you know what? Let him do his fucking thing. Let him be Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Let him be the voice of Mario, I guess. But then that's also where I'm thinking, I forget the fucking name again of the guy who's done the Mario voice for so long. Forgive me for not knowing that. Feel free to pin him in the comments and or here on YouTube and or IG, whatever too. But absolutely that guy should have been the voice of Mario for the fucking movie. There is also the part you got to consider as far as like, do we really want to hear nothing but Yahoo, Whippy, Super Mario, the whole movie and shit? I don't think so. Now, while he is a part of the cast, he has been mentioned as far as being multiple characters apparently who will be chiming in throughout the movie. I'm thinking it sounds like he's been reduced to just mostly blinking you'll miss it or fall asleep, and who knows if you heard him at all, part of the cast in the movie. I don't know if we're getting Wario. I don't know if we're getting Waluigi. I don't know if we're getting any of the other voices he does throughout the fucking Mario series and or gaming franchise, I mean to say. But if he's not the voice of Mario and Chris Pratt is this anything more than Nintendo going for an immediate cash grab / headlines / box office fucking money? It's just a money grab. I think they could have done this whole cast, okay, maybe minus Chris Pratt and Charlie Day as Luigi. They could have done the whole rest of this cast and left that guy that does the Mario voice and has done it for so long as Mario. Because if we know Mario, he doesn't fucking speak. Again, we haven't established because of his like really thick mustache. Maybe he's got a cleft palate. Maybe he's got an overbite. Maybe, I don't know, he's got, what is it, overbite's the one on the top row, underbite's the one on the bottom row. Right. Maybe he's got some of that going on, hence the mustache was drawn upon him. So we don't know if maybe he's got a speech impediment of some sort. Maybe he stutters. The mustache is so heavy it weighs down his top lip so he can stop the stuttering, and he's been reduced or told, medically advised, to not go beyond the Yahoo, Yippee, Super Mario, or thanks for playing in my game, or whatever fucking limited phrases he's had throughout the fucking whole series and franchises, games he's been a part of too. There's no discrediting Mario with that shit, but I think they could have maybe kept that energy. Yes, it could be potentially 2 hours almost worth of Yahoo, Whippy, Yaha, Bubble, Baba, and all that too. Randomly, dropped in. But then you got the whole Peach character who has spoken a lot in the games and fucking even Super Mario 64. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she read the whole fucking letter when you start the game as far as like, Mario, I've reduced you to being a cuckold because you're always running and chasing and saving me from Bowser, clearly the fucking guy with the BBC, or in his case the BLC, the big lizard cock, that's sticking me down properly. Talk about pipe work and all that. Since you're a plumber, you should fucking know. But still, he's the one giving me the big fucking lizard cock I need. I'm fully satisfied. I've told you once and twice and all these times, stop rescuing me, but you keep doing so. Oh yeah, I baked you a cake. Once you're done getting the 120 stars, getting all the stars, including the hidden stars in the castle, seeing Yoshi on top of the fucking roof, which you can't even ride him, you can't even jump on top of him. As soon as he's done talking to him, he fucking just jumps away clearly into the waterfalls because he committed suicide as far as not being included in Super Mario 64 of all fucking things. But still, I digress. We haven't established. What was I even saying? I forgot my point right now. But point is, what I'm saying is, what was I saying? Shit, I got sidetracked. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. So it seems like nothing but a cash grab because Chris Pratt is a known name. Is he necessarily box office? I wouldn't say so. We do know the name. It's established by now at this point in his career and to our convenience. Those of us that watch the Marvel movies, those of us that know him from Parks and Recs, whatever too, or we just know him period as a familiar name, okay, our interest is going to be piqued enough to fucking maybe check it out. Or of course, a lot of us have kids. They're going to want to see the Mario movie. It's animated, it's new, it's in theaters, it's bright, sparkly, colorful, whatever the fuck else you want to call it too. Of course there's that. So why not at least throw something that the adults can appreciate as far as, oh, Chris Pratt. I kind of like him. Okay, I'll probably fall asleep in the middle, wake up half an hour later, and maybe appreciate a joke or two throughout the whole fucking thing.
Hey, where's the freaking gabagoo? You motherfucker, huh? Don't make me get the.
Let's see what happens there. I think that might have been what they're going for, to be honest, because I really can't make sense of all people, Chris Pratt. Because there's also the issue of, we've known Mario to barely speak. We've established that until now. We don't know the exact reason why he barely speaks, but he probably chooses to barely speak because, I don't know, he's just tired of the Princess Peach and her fucking cuckold dragon games. Luigi being the low-key favorite of a lot of people and actually getting a cool series with the Luigi's Mansions 1, 2, and 3. And a lot of people picking Luigi over him in Smash Brothers because he is more floaty, convenient, and can even hurt you just by taunting you. So, whatever. There's all that too. Maybe tiny microaggressions Mario has laying low-key that'll one day just fucking blow up in everyone's face. Boom, pow. Just like that. And take it out on Luigi one day. I don't know, to be honest. But okay. We have known him, according to the old live-action / animated Mario series with shout out to Lou Albano, I believe, rest in peace, he passed away. And anyone else involved in that show too. We knew him to be an Italian, heavily accented Italian plumber from Brooklyn, New York, of all places. Him and Luigi running a plumbing business. When things go awire, one day tripping off of, conveniently enough, mushrooms, because they're in Brooklyn in the fucking early 90s or the late 80s when Mario was created, per se. They're bored. They're stuck in Brooklyn doing nothing but potentially to commit petty crimes because, again, Brooklyn, of course, they did mushrooms, hopped into a fucking warp pipe one day, assumed a fucking sewer rat with maybe like an old wig on its head conveniently placed enough was a princess named Peach, because maybe they got the peach laced flavored fucking mushrooms they were smoking on, or whatever you do with mushrooms, I wouldn't know, to be honest. Went on a whole hot pursuit going after this one rat in particular, and then they bump into those infamous, notorious, urban legend crocodile alligators looming in the New York City sewer system, aka King Koopa of all fucking things. Now I don't know what Koopa means, where they got King Koopa from, how that switched or became Bowser later on in my lifetime, because again, I knew this guy to always be King Koopa on my shirt right here. Then he just became Bowser. Apparently Bowser was the name of Japan. Japan took it away from us. Our rights, our liberties to call this guy King Koopa instead of Bowser, but we just kind of went with it because it makes sense. And then oddly enough, one of the fucking head cheeses, the top bananas, no pun intended, Donkey Kong, of Nintendo right now, or the big wigs, but I think he's bald like me too, haha, is, Bowser, what's his fucking name? Dan Bowser, I think? So funny enough, Bowser Association, of all things, as a fellow Bowser, Dan Bowser, whatever his name is, Doug Bowser, something like that, could have been like, wait a second, Jack Black is Bowser? Does that make sense to anybody? The Kung Fu Panda guy voicing him? I don't know about that. But then also, going back to this point also, was that if he's been established to be an Italian plumber who got high off mushrooms one day and probably fell down a manhole hunting a wig-wearing fucking giant cat-sized rat, the wig was blonde, he was high, so was his fucking brother Luigi, who tagged along for the ride down the sewer system of all fucking things, bumped into a fucking alligator and his minions, which he couldn't even figure out, you know what? I think there was just mushrooms going around in the sewers too, so they're the Goombas. King Koopa is fucking this big alligator I saw legit in the sewer system, but no one was going to believe him. Or is this all, as I've been thinking lately, is this all brought to us by a very, very drugged out weekend by Shigeru Miyamoto and the other guys involved in the creation of the Super Mario Brothers franchise? Because listen, if you think about it, as I just elaborated and I explained, tripping balls off of fucking mushrooms, they had to make a fucking hit. They had to make the Nintendo Entertainment System, the original NES, work some way, somehow. They had Mario already as Mario Brothers, that one game where they're both playing at the same time. They gotta like bump the blocks and bump the enemies upside down and then eliminate them somehow, some way. Mario was Jumpman and Donkey Kong, and now they're working on Super Mario Brothers as well too. So then, they just create this whole story which makes sense in their own drugged out fucking minds. One fucking drug heavy, spaced out weekends off mushrooms of all things. 'Cause look, Mushroom Kingdom, tripping off of mushrooms. All you see is mushrooms everywhere the fucking eye can look. Throw a rock, you hit a mushroom of some shape, form, color, whatever. Tripping over mushrooms literally as you walk through the fucking meadowy fields of mushrooms on top of that, because you smoked a big fat sack of it. And now you're trying to place, you know what? Who cooks with mushrooms? In Japanese, of course, who cooks with mushrooms? Italians, right? They put it in the pasta, and sometimes if they're vegan, well, this is way before vegan was a thing, I think. But maybe there's like vegan lasagna, they use mushrooms instead of meat. Or you know what? Italian plumbers from Brooklyn that got high off mushrooms, they tripped into one of those sewer pipes or manholes in Brooklyn of all places. That sounds disgusting enough. Of course, this is all going on in their heads in Japanese. Italian plumber, Brooklyn, they fall into the manhole, chasing after the rat with a blonde wig. They bump into an alligator, his little minions that were just more rats, but then they saw like mushrooms because they were so high. Hence you got the Mushroom Kingdom. Hence you got Princess fucking Peach, because maybe they were fiending for peaches after they fucking were hungover, or I don't know if you get hungover from mushrooms or whatever too, but then they were fiending for peaches. Oh, Princess Peaches, who are they fucking saving? There's a little toad friend who got us into the trouble to begin with, but you know, he's there to help, and he's her servant and all that too. And then how do you explain Daisy? You know, probably from sniffing daisies and shit, and maybe one of them was like super allergic to it and damn near in a coma, and thought, you know what, Daisy works. Annoying enough and pretty enough as they are, they're going to be introduced to the series as well too. Who cares about Daisy? She gets no fucking love anyway, practically, if anything. Then how do you explain Waluigi? You know, Wario was probably like a landlord in Brooklyn, slumlord who was like kicking Mario out of the fucking building. Or maybe somebody, a Nintendo employee, said, that's how I can best describe, you know, my landlord where I lived. He was like an evil, fatter, big-nosed Mario who was a real dick. And then they say, you know what? Mario, Wario, wah-ha-ha-ha, and all that shit. And then who knows how else they came up with fucking Yoshi, of all things. Yoshi is a fucking pet turtle they probably had, but they wanted to ride it because they were so high one day, and probably did ride the turtle, broke its shell, killed it, tossed it off into the river somewhere, and then that's where you got, of all things, Yoshi, the fucking pet dinosaur, subjugated to being a fucking servant, where in Super Mario World, as soon as you got hit while riding Yoshi, if you remember, he'd be the one committing suicide and or running off and scurrying into whatever fucking level you passed before, and then leaving you to your own luck, because, well, yeah, Yoshi was kind of like an abuse victim. He'd just run off and fucking, like, not even look back and see if you were good or nothing, if you need anything else. No, he'd just fucking scurry away. Okay, so I get that. Kind of like a crack fiend, you know? Hits the pipe once, scared, and then once the high is done, he's running to get his next fucking fill. There's a lot of low-key drug references, I guess. Remember that one fucking level in Yoshi's Island 1 where you touched the fuzz, you actually felt, or the course would move, sashay around like you were high, you can barely make sense of where you were going, left or right, whatever. I love that level, but it was a little too effective, if you ask me too. So I'm on to you, Miyamoto. You might be fucking too in depth or in tune with what the trippy side effects are of drugs to actually put them in the fucking game. And of course, that's how the Mario Brother franchise was created to begin with. My God, I fucking stumbled upon something here too. Admit it, you probably thought it too, but I was brave enough to speak it into existence as far as a theory that's probably been going around. And listen, if you don't like that, boom, blew you away with that shit, didn't I? Mine is blown officially. It's alright. It's what I do here on Who This Been Watching, of course. So yes, now that we stepped aside from motherfucking Super Mario, the fiasco that is the voice cast, and the origins, the real story of how Super Mario Brothers was created to begin with. It's Italian fucking plumber shaming at its finest, if anything, too. And I think they caught up to modern times where everything's getting canceled and everybody can be sensitive about just about every fucking thing imaginable. They probably thought about the Italian Americans that'll be heavily offended if we would have kept the OG Mario voice guy as Mario in the upcoming movie. So now they went with the safe choice of Chris Pratt, who is funny, who is witty, but now I'm afraid he's going to taint Mario with talking too fucking much, as he's known to do, even though he's funny and charming, talking too fucking much. And potentially what we have in our hands here, or my one hand here, because I got, you know, surgery done recently. Shout out to the fucking hospitals doing so. There is potential for, again, like how we were biting our nails and we were worried about fucking Ben Affleck becoming Batman way back when. And then we got Batman vs. Superman, which the only redeeming factor was, dun 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 dun, Batman or Batflick. Which, again, you want to argue, you want to, you know, dispute with me on that. I still go with fucking Ben Affleck as my favorite / the best Batman according to me, of all people. Now, as shocking as that may be to you out there, I'll fucking co-sign that till the day I drop dead. Now we're getting in nostalgia for that factor again, as far as Robert Pattinson being the new Batman with the trailer that dropped like, what, a year ago, something like that, a little over a year. And his turn now as Batman coming up, well, I believe next year, or is it next year or 2023? I think it's late 2022 or something like that. But now we're waiting on his turn to see a lot of us, not me, I'm not in that part of the audience, but a lot of us are counting and looking forward to see if he fails as Batman. I think there might, oddly enough, be potential. But again, same thing as was with Ben Affleck, doing it all over again now with Robert Pattinson of all people too. So let's see how he does with Batman. I think there's a lot of potential here for Chris Pratt announced as Mario. A lot of us are like, fuck, you can throw me in there too this time around. Fuck, Chris Pratt as Mario. I don't like the idea, but I am willing to say at least, let's see what we get out of it. Or let's see how that goes, better yet said. So there is that. There is potential. You know, I'll be in suspense till then, but either way, I will be there to watch the movie when it drops. Boom, 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 whatever, in the box office. To close things out, though, today, since we talked heavily and a lot about Mario, the movie, the gaming, and the real origin stories of the Mario Brothers based off of just a lot of smoking that good stuff, Shigeru Miyamoto, allegedly. There's the scandal with CARSON DALY, who's part of the Today Show, the morning, whatever you call those variety shows on NBC, I believe. Where it's just a panel of fucking reporters just like being, hey, how's your weekend? Hey, it's not here yet, but hump day, right? Ha 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 ha, whatever. All that. I remember CARSON DALY, of course, from TRL, Total Request Live. He is the most recent example of someone trying to get canceled for the stupidest reason possible, which is, if you're like me, you probably caught one episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit and fell in love with the show ever since. I did. One day Saturday, as I've told before, I was trying to look for something to watch. I stumbled upon SVU. 10 hours later, because this was the USA Network, which plays nothing but SVU on Saturdays and Sundays, shout out to the USA Network. Next thing I know, 10 hours later, my whole Saturday was spent just watching SVU because I was so involved and in love with the show. Excuse me. So I loved it ever since then, no complaints whatsoever. Season 23 of SVU just premiered this past couple of days, as well as the second season for Law and Order Organized Crime, the Elliot Stabler's solo venture, which I like, and it's different because SVU, the real charm of it is that you can almost pretty much jump into any episode randomly, and if you like it, you'll probably love the series afterwards too, but you don't have to be like canon, you don't have to be like watching the whole thing from day one, episode one, to get what happens in each episode. Each episode is its own case, and you don't get so heavily involved with the inner workings or the personal life of the cast. You just see how their minds all come together like Voltron, practically, in the criminal detective sense, to crack these cases, you know, get the bad guys, solve the murders, solve the fucking sex crimes whatsoever too. So that's really fucking something you can appreciate. I haven't loved season 20 and above, not so much because we got a lot of character cast changes whatsoever. I don't mind that, but there's a little too much going on as far as having us get involved or knowing too much more about the whole cast on air, on screen at least, personal lives. So we're learning a lot more about Benson. We're learning a lot more about Rollins and Carisi and all them too as well. Shouts to Ice-T. He's always tweeting, and a pretty good tweet or Twitter account to follow, better yet said. But all that aside, CARSON DALY and the rest of them on the Today Show had Mariska and Christopher Maloney, aka Benson Stabler, on, I believe, Thursday, something like that. You know, the day of the premiere of fucking the new seasons of each fucking corresponding show. They had them on asking questions, fan questions as well too. So then they had the bright idea of taking a poll apparently, or just asking amongst themselves, the cast of the Today Show. They were like, oh, a panel, whatever you call it. Like, we need to take a poll to see who here wants to see Benson and Stabler get together. And of course they all raised their hand because as a fan of SVU, me included, I would love to eventually see them, or better yet said, finally get to see Stabler and Benson get back together, because, spoilers if you haven't watched Organized Crime yet, Stabler was married for the longest time to his high school sweetheart. I think they briefly separated, if I remember, whatever the fuck, but she got killed. and the whole premise of the whole first season, which I haven't finished yet, I'll be honest, I gotta finish it, is that she's killed early, I think in episode 1 or 2. So now the whole story is focused on Stabler getting revenge, and or at least bringing down the mob guy who planned to hit on him, or his crew, his cronies, whatever, that planned to hit on him. That's the whole series playing out. Versus SVU, which is still just like individual cases per each episode, which is still a great formula. There's still great writing, very well told stories, I feel. So it's still got a lot of seasons left to it, a lot of gas left in that tank. Organized Crime's been good too, just I got so busy with other things I didn't get to finish that one like I wished I would have. But now that season 2 started, I'm gonna finish season 1 first, then jump right into season 2, hopefully soon enough, maybe, if not this week, the next. But they took the pull of asking, as longtime fans do want to see them get together eventually, now that Stabler's free and clear to get hooked up with fucking Benson of all things. CARSON DALY actually was the one brave enough, and or according to all SVU stans, overly obsessive fans with Mariska Hargitay and or Christopher Maloney, according to them, the man deserves to be canceled just because he's the only one that said, you know what, I don't want to see you guys together. I don't think you should get together on the show. Which isn't a wrong opinion to have, because if you've been watching OC, or if you know Stabler from his time on SVU, he's unstable. His name is Stabler, but it should be unstabler because the man is unstable. He goes through a lot. He feels very passionately, to his defense, about the victims he's been defending. His own family he has to protect as well too. 3 daughters, his wife, or I think ex-wife eventually at some point, or I think they got back together. I think there was a brief divorce, separation, whatever. I don't remember, to be honest. But point is, he's an overly passionate guy. He believes heavily in justice. He's not guilty of anything. And they kissed, I forget what season, him and Benson. And there was always that underlying, but you can't cover that shit up at all, or fucking fan down those flames of passion between Benson and Stabler for the longest time. So it was eventually bound to happen. Is it the best thing for both of them? Maybe not, if you think about it, because Benson has been through this one, that one, this one got killed, this one left, whatever the fuck happened to. Now she's got the kid, I forget the kid's name, but she's got the kid. The kid's growing up. Okay, there's that. She's kind of got her life set. Is there necessarily a need for a man in her life, or a presence of there for Noah, I think the child's name is? Not necessarily. I don't think so, at least anyway. I like Benson the way she is. I think she's fine on her own, better yet said. Stabler is still trying to find himself because, of course, he's grieving the loss of his wife. What was her name? Kelly, I think. Losing his wife, but on top of all things, not just losing his wife, but having his wife get murdered, blown up, where he could have, or he feels overly obsessed with the fact that he could have saved her had he known. Okay, you can't know everything. You can't save everybody. That's obvious. Unfortunately, that's life. He's still so guilt heavy about the fact that she's gone. There's no mother for her children anymore. He'll break down randomly in organized crime. He's letting his heart lead before his head, as far as trying to solve the fact that he's trying to bring down this whole kingpin of organized crime for, pharmaceutical involvement and all that shit too he's got going on, and being the guy that most likely ordered to have his wife killed. So he's really unstable. He's not all there in his fucking head. So how can you have someone that's clearly unstable get with someone who is fairly stable now, because she's a mother, she's got a growing child, she's in charge of the whole fucking apartment, but somehow she's been managing. And as she made clear in Organized Crime and SVU with the crossover episodes, where were you when I needed you? Because, oh yeah, you up and left one day without even saying goodbye to me, who was your partner, your work wife, as a joke, whatever. Outside of your family and or your wife, the most important part of your life and work, you didn't even bother giving me the heads up you were leaving, or you had to leave, or something went wrong. I'm going to have to skip town for who knows how long. I may never see you again, but you know, I love you, I appreciate you, I love you like family, boom, 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 blah, blah, blah. If you ever need me, here's where I'll be, etc., etc. No, just up and disappear. Straight ghosted her. So she's got the right to still be upset and, you know, harbor resentment towards that, but she doesn't, because she's got Noah. She's got her whole work life to worry about. She's got her whole fucking career to worry about, because there was a threat of like canceling her because of arresting one black guy, I think, early on in that last season, season 22 or something like that as well. Also, there's too much going on for her. She's able to maintain. There's a lot going on for Stabler, and he's clearly not able to fucking maintain, while he can't keep his dick in his pants because he's fiending over the fucking Kingpin's ex, hot piece of ass chef's kiss wife, no doubt, but he can't keep it in his pants. I don't think they fucked. I think they only kissed, made out, whatever, and she can't help himself around him either too. And then the internet was going crazy about, you know, the one pic that went viral about him, his backside, his ass. Like, the man's legit. Chris Maloney, Elliot Stabler's got a fucking peach on him, no question there. And I think mostly they're amazed that he's like 60 something now. Somehow this man is 60 something and got the ass of like a 25-year-old fucking power squatter or something like that. It's amazing, that thing. Pause. But it's what it is, you know? Is it really convenient for either one of them to get together now? Probably not. Eventually down the line, if he learns to cope with his anger, his rage boiling on the inside of him because of losing his wife, having his wife taken away from him, trying to be a father to his children. What was it, like 3 girls, 2 boys, something like that too? I forget. Having all those kids to be responsible for, even though they're fucking all near grown and off to college, whatever. Trying to make amends still with fucking Benson, even though she's probably saying for the most part, oh, I'm okay, we're good, we have to work together anyway, so believe me, no bad blood, nothing. But then there's that trust issue for her too as well. It's like, well, if I get with him and he just feels like up and running or up and leaving me, am I going to get an explanation, or am I at least going to get a goodbye this time? Something like that. And then there's Noah now, one more kid for him, but then now she's taking on 5 other heads, making it 6 total, a whole little fucking softball team, if anything. It's like they're practically Dominican, all the fucking amount of kids they would have together if they got together, Benson and Stabler. That's crazy to think too. But it's not convenient for them right now. Let's be honest as fans. I love them both. I love them together as an item. I would have loved to have done it seasons ago, 10 seasons ago at least. But he left. He left the fucking standard there. He left her there stranded to her own luck. No fucking clue of his existence. Of course, he was written off the show, but obviously, besides the fact, I don't think it's convenient for them to get together either right now. Maybe let's let one more season pass. Let's let season 2 of OC flesh out as far as whatever's going on there. I haven't been watching, so to be honest, I wouldn't know. Let him get over his fucking demons, or as they say now with, I think it's hashtag shadow work, really great advice actually. Make friends with your demons. Learn to control them, learn their names, so you control them, they don't control you, as far as AKA, don't let your triggers, whatever triggers you to get angry, be the thing that controls you or guides you in the wrong direction most likely. So don't be so easily, set off like that per se. Especially in Stabler's case, which he's really fucking fast to go off the handles, especially now he's got a fucking lady boss. Nothing wrong with that, but I think he had in his mind he was going to be the big cheese per se, the head honcho of his organized crime department, but he's not, and he's coping with it. She's a fucking great boss too, super smart. Shout out to her. I don't remember her name offhand, but also chef's kiss to her. And also LGBTQ representative right there too with her. Yeah, she's a lesbian, right, or something like that. I guess you can say, yeah, she's a lesbian. So shout out to them getting positively represented in that case. Getting positively represented in that case without like an overly overt, I'm a lesbian, leave me alone, you fucking big dick white male oppressor motherfucker, whatever, colonizer, all this shit too. No, she's cool about it. She sets him in his fucking place early on, but learns quick. He's good. I can trust him. He's gonna fucking come through for me, so I gotta come through for him. And she's not, again, like dressing like a butch or like Timberland up in New York, of course, which would make sense if she was, but she's not. She's in fucking power suits, looks apart, pretty, nice haircut, presentable, all that shit too, but fucking smart as a fucking whip and all that. So it makes sense she's the boss. And I'm glad she's the boss. He needed a fucking boss, a boss lady. Benson might have taken it easy on him had they gotten together too soon. And right now it's still too soon. Let's wait one more season. Let's hold our horses. Let's sit on our hands until further notice so that we give this time to actually grow and develop into a nurturing, loving, positive relationship that both Benson and Stabler deserve to have with each other. That's what the fuck it is. Blast, 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 blast for the Mega Man fucking prop arm right here. Because we were talking about gaming a lot with the fucking Super Mario Mushroom Kingdom, all based off of drugs. One heavily drugged up weekend that Shigeru Miyamoto-san had and came up with the fucking franchise we know and love, which is now getting the fucking movie, which is not going to be catering to the Italian-American crowds with Super Mario's voice at least, but now with Chris Pratt of all things, the big question looming is, it's a me, a Mario. Is there something as simple as that that's going to be said in the movie at all? Or is it going to be an overly fucking chatty, talky, wordy Mario, which is going to worry more about being funny more than anything? But then again, wasn't Chris Pratt in the Lego movie? I believe he was, and he was pretty good. Lego movie's pretty fucking funny. And actually pretty good. I recommend it. So, if they go with that kind of energy, I can see this thing working. Don't hold me to it, though. I'm saying maybe. Regardless, with the potential of this working and it being animated already, it's already off to a much better start and already automatically by default, hold me to this part, already fucking better than that piece of shit, flaming piece of fucking summer brewing garbage water pile of shit we got back in 1990 whatever fucking 3, I think, Super Mario Brothers from back then. Hold me to that entirely. I'm saying so like a boss. I'm letting that be known and said right fucking now. Quote me when this comes around, come December 2022 time, holiday season next year, when this fucking movie, Super Mario movie, releases. Hold me to it. And hold me to it too when season 3 of Organized Crime of Law and Order drops the same day as fucking SVU Law and Order 2 as well, when only then it would make sense that Elliot Stabler and Olivia Benson, aka Mariska Hargitay, and Chris Maloney finally get together when they're in better places mentally and spiritually, because if we care about them at all, we want to see them do better for themselves first and then bring that positive energy together to make a harmonious home. Because listen, he's going to be taking on one more kid. That's nothing for him. That's fucking sweat off his fucking back. She's going to be taking on 5 grown-ass fucking people on top of the one child that hasn't even hit the teenage years yet, which, as endearing and as kind and lovely as Noah seems now, we gotta wait to see the fucking heel turn emotionally once he becomes a teenager. Hopefully, he doesn't turn into fucking AJ Soprano, like how much of a fucking cunt he is in season 6 of The Sopranos. We don't see that with Noah going on either. Let's hold out on judgment and hold on to hope. Hoping for the best for both Benson, Stabler. They get together eventually, just not now. Don't fucking rush it, don't fucking force it. And also, let's hold out on hope, at least a little bit, for the Super Mario movie coming out next year. Who this been watching? That's it for me today. Nothing to review, no ratings to hand out except for, the potential for the Super Mario movie to actually exist and fucking be something that we don't have to worry about or regret come 2023, like a week removed after the movie drops in 2022. Maybe I'll give that like a 1 ear out of fucking 2 potentially. And yes, a very limp 1 ear, because I'm saying I'm holding on to hope to see if that movie's good at all. I'm not really sold though. So maybe with a fucking trailer in advance before the movie comes out, might change my mind. But for now, 1 very limp ear out of 2 potentially for the potential that Super Mario the movie, the animated movie, might have when it comes out, holiday 2022 season. And also, I'm gonna give a fucking half an ear to all the fucking people out there that were mean enough to try to cancel, of all fucking people, CARSON DALY, just because he was brave enough to say, out of all people on the fucking Today Show panel, and probably of the few people out there that are fans of SVU that don't want Benson and Stabler to get together and doesn't think it's the best thing right now for them, for trying to cancel this poor guy. It's the wrong use of cancel, you fucking idiots. Now you're trying to cancel somebody for having a unique enough opinion because you don't agree with it, or it doesn't fall in line with what you think or feel or believe should happen because your parents told you was so fucking special, you fucking moron. No, you're not, by the way. You're just another fucking grown adult with an opinion and access to a fucking keyboard and, unfortunately, the internet for you, which shouldn't be openly available to everybody on the fucking planet anyways. By the way, China's doing the right thing by limiting their children to fucking, 3 hours of video games a weekend? Maybe we need something like that implemented here of some sorts. Not taking away our liberties of searching the internet for whatever we want, Pornhub, xvideos.com and shit, but at least limiting our uses and or trying to question, should you be on the internet? How high is your IQ? What have you been up to? What have you been searching as of fucking last year, 2 years ago, ever since you hit puberty, you little fuck? Oh, you've been looking this shit up, huh? How to fucking burn cats alive and get away with it, guilt-free, how to fucking titty fuck grandmas without them remembering your name or where they left their teeth at? Alright, fuck. Jail, fuck face. Something like that. That's all I'm saying. But you fucks try to cancel CARSON DALY. CARSON DALY of all people. Who's he fucking ever offended? Who's he ever been mean to? Who's he ever been a dick to? He had a fucking, if he still doesn't until now, he had a late night show like at 3 in the morning, which no one watched and most likely got canceled, but not because he was mean or like being overly, horny boy or whatever either. It just probably wasn't up his alley. So he got a fucking Today Show gig instead. He's doing good for himself, but now you want to cancel him because he had a fucking opinion different than yours? That's the wrong use of canceling. You cancel somebody if allegedly they're like Woody Allen and fucking fucked his underage stepdaughter, or sexually harassed or made advances on people in his fucking past movies or something like that, or whatever R. Kelly did, or whatever anybody's been accused of doing that's actual fucking crimes to another fucking human, sexually, violently, physically, whatever. Hold them guilty. Cancel them all you want. Or whoever's been canceled till now, which has been, okay, whatever, but yeah, alright, whatever. We're canceling them now, even though it's way after the fact. Don't do that to CARSON DALY because he had a different opinion than yours. You're a fucking moron if you do. And you get no fucking ears at all if you're on that fucking bandwagon. If you're a fan of SVU, overly obsessed and wanting fucking Benson and Stabler, they need to be together. It's written in the stars whatsoever too. They're like my own personal Twilight series and saga whatsoever. No. It's bad. They'd be toxic for each other right now. They need time to develop personally and grow personally before they get together and make a whole fucking happy family. Practically fucking Dominican status with 6 fucking kids they gotta share amongst them fucking selves. And mind you, Stabler's not a fucking horny boy like that. Okay, he's been making out, he's been doing his thing, whatever, making the rounds, but he's always been loyal to his fucking wife and cared the fuck out of his kids. You gotta give him credit there. That's it. That's all I'm saying for today. Who that's been watching, thanks for watching live here on Instagram first. As always, the uncut, uncensored, uncircumcised fucking version of the show here, which will always be stored and saved on IGTV for your convenience. No editing, no cutting nothing out. All the flesh left in there for your fucking dick cheese pleasure, if need be. And or the slightly cleaned up, tucked back turtleneck action, circumcised, somewhat, version on YouTube at whothisisone and or youtube.com/whothisisone.